And I'm Jackie. I'm your host for today's show. We have a great show. We have an amazing panel. All our partners are here today. And before I introduce them, I want to remind everyone of that phone number on the screen. It's 888-88-LEGAL. The call is free. The consultation is free. Please give us a call. We have solutions for you. 888-88-LEGAL. Let's go ahead and introduce our wonderful panel of attorneys. First up, we have Alexis Garcia.
Thank you, Jackie. Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here this evening.
And of course, Daniel Silver.
Hi, everyone. Pleasure to be here. Thank you.
And Jennifer Pratt.
Thank you, Jackie, and I love how you just said today your name is Jackie, not Jackie Mendez. You are just Jackie.
You're the lovely Jennifer.
I think people know already. I mean, after a couple weeks on the show, they know who Jackie is.
No introduction needed.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, once again, 888-88-LEGAL. The show is live. Give us a call. Any questions you may have, we're willing to answer. We have some solutions for you. Today, we're going to be talking about experts. That's right.
That's right.
And we're going to be talking about bankruptcy. So let's get right into the conversation, shall we, Jennifer? And family law. Yeah. Of course.
Okay, well, experts in family law and how experts can either help build your case or, depending on which side you're on, how they can help tear down your case. So we're going to have Attorney Silver explain to us about the different kinds of experts that you may be able to use, not only in your divorce case, but also in your paternity case. That means your regular child support time-sharing case. We're also going to talk to Attorney Garcia about whether experts are ever used in bankruptcy and whether or not how testimony is taken into account in bankruptcy cases, if ever at all. And of course, we'll be talking about some bankruptcy solutions, Chapter 7, Chapter 13. We're going to sprinkle all that in between some of the family issues that we'll be talking about this evening. Attorney Silver, I know you've got a big plate of information to feed us this evening. Can you tell I'm hungry?
Step up to the trough.
And so let's break it down for folks. Most people, I think, they imagine, a divorce. They imagine, of course, the husband, the wife, or the spouse is there. Maybe a couple of family witnesses, maybe a mom, an uncle, a sister. But you're talking about bringing in completely neutral third parties, experts. What does that mean, and how do they help our case?
Not necessarily neutral, but anyway, the buffet is open and let the feeding begin. So let's just back up for a second and let's just talk about why is someone going to need an expert in court, and what is the difference between an expert witness and a lay witness? And really, the only difference between a lay witness and an expert witness is that an expert witness is permitted by a court, after being qualified as an expert, to give an opinion. They're able to say, this is what I think, this is what I believe. Where a lay witness is not allowed to give an opinion, they're only able to testify as to facts. So in family law cases, we have psychological evaluators and psychologists that do psychological evaluations, vocational evaluators that do vocational testing when someone's defending against alimony claims, parenting coordinators, guardian ad litems, and social investigators for parenting issues. So all sorts of experts can be brought in to render an opinion as to whether, what's in the child's best interest, what's in, what's a mental state at issue, or perhaps what's in a child's best interest. But we're not going to talk about child evaluations today. That'll be for another show.
Thank you so much, Attorney Silver. Once again, 888-88-LEGAL. Give us a call. The show is free. I'm sorry, the show is live and the call is free.
Well, the show is free too.
That's
if you're watching us
true.
on YouTube, you're not wrong. You're always right, Jackie.
Not
Remember
on HBO
that.
yet.
Not yet. Not yet. But HBO, if you're watching and you want me, you just give me a call.
John Oliver, if you're watching, I'll come with her.
And I come with Pratt.
Listen,
We're a team.
I'm on the edge of the cliff. I'm not holding on to anybody, okay? It's me or y'all, and it's me. All right, Mr. Silver, with that being said, so let's talk about some of these experts. Does it mean that because I bring an expert and they give their opinion, that's it, the judge takes it for truth? Is it just automatically accepted?
Well, I'll tell you, if in a case where you're talking about perhaps like a business valuation or, vocational valuation, if one party brings the expert and the other party doesn't have a competing expert, well, the court's probably going to take the expert's testimony over the other testimony. So regardless, if you're in a position where the other side has an expert, you best get yourself an expert to defend against that testimony.
Can you have the same expert represent both sides or talk for both sides?
That's a great question. And if you have two attorneys that work together that basically we can hire one expert to serve as a neutral, so that way they're basically not taking sides. And let's just take, for example, a forensic accountant. So if you had two competing forensic accountants on a business valuation, one is here at 100,000, one is here at 200,000. That neutral will say, look, I'm not going to take any positions. It's a $50,000 valuation, but if everything is perfect for the husband, it's 70. If everything's perfect for the wife, it's 30. And we have a range. So but the problem is with two competing experts, you're paying two different experts to do the same job. So it costs twice as much, and it may cost twice as long, or take twice as long because you're deposing two experts. So neutral experts, if they can be applied, can save parties a lot of money and be the deal breaker or the tiebreaker.
But what about, so I mean, let's say we get a neutral expert, and what if that expert doesn't opine what I need him to opine or her to opine? The opinion is not favorable to me.
You don't agree with your neutral. Well, then, depending on the facts of the case and how the orders are entered, traditionally, look, if a neutral is appointed and they provide some result that the other party doesn't agree with, well, they can go out and perhaps get their own expert. But then again, now they have their own expert battling against a neutral expert. It's very difficult. Look, that's why if you're going to have a neutral expert on your case, you need to make sure that you are going to be okay with their opinions, because if a neutral's assigned to the case, does an opinion, and you don't like it, it may be hard to convince the court that the neutral is wrong because they're acting as a neutral.
Thank you so much, Attorney Silver. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, 888-88-LEGAL. Give us a call. The consultation is free.
Attorney Garcia, in the context of bankruptcy, do you ever see, either in the Chapter 7 or Chapter 13 context, do you ever see any sort of experts or outside third parties that give opinion?
Absolutely. You're going to see it a lot if we speak in a Chapter 13 bankruptcy, in a valuation or a motion to value. A motion to value is when you're trying to get rid of a second mortgage altogether. Whether or not you can get rid of this mortgage is going to depend upon the value of the property, which you would need an expert appraiser to bring that valuation in and to present it to the court. Also, we can get into it a little more because I think we're going to go to a break soon. So if you want, when we come back, we'll get into that. Yeah, Jackie?
Definitely. Thank you so much, Attorney Garcia. Ladies and gentlemen, we do have to come up. We're going to have a quick commercial break, but we'll be back. Continue the conversation. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. This is PraDa Law Live. We have our attorneys here today. All our main attorneys here today with us. So, ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. Thank you so much.
I know you're home right now asking yourself, how? How will I pay my rent, my mortgage, my bills, my credit card debt? I'm attorney Alexis Garcia with PraDa Law. I've personally helped people with financial problems over the last 10 years. I understand what you are going through. We saw people lose it all in the 2008 financial crisis. You don't have to lose it all. The consultation is free. Call us now. I will help protect what you have built. You have nothing to lose by calling us. Call us now. These are trying times. This deadly virus is affecting our health, economy, jobs, our small business owners. Bankruptcy protection may be able to save assets and immediately stop your creditors from harassing you. Small business owners, employees of business of any size, we know you need help. Call us now. We will help you get back on your feet. Don't wait until it's too late. This is the time to call.
Sé que estás en la casa ahora mismo preguntándote, ¿cómo voy a pagar la hipoteca, la renta, los biles, las tarjetas de crédito? Soy la abogada Jennifer Pratt con PraDa Law. Yo personalmente he ayudado a las personas con problemas financieros durante los últimos 10 años. Yo entiendo por lo que estás pasando. Vimos cómo la gente lo perdió todo durante la crisis financiera del 2008. No tienes que perderlo todo. Llama ahora. La consulta es gratis. Te ayudaremos a proteger todo lo que has construido durante todos estos años. Sabemos que estos son tiempos difíciles. Este virus mortal está amenazando nuestra salud, nuestra economía, nuestros empleos y a los propietarios de nuestras pequeñas empresas. La consulta es gratis. Llame ahora. Te ayudaremos a recuperarte. No esperes hasta que sea demasiado tarde. Llame ya.
Welcome back to PraDa Law Live, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Jackie Mendez. I'm your host for today's show. We've been talking a couple of things today about bankruptcy, family law, and we definitely want to get right into the conversation, but we do want to remind you that there's a number on the screen. It's 888-88-LEGAL. Give us a call. Consultation is free. Jennifer?
That's right, Jackie, and we've been talking about experts and about whether or not you can use an expert in your divorce or your paternity case. And there are different types of experts, as Attorney Silver mentioned in the last segment. But right before this break, we were talking to Attorney Garcia about experts that may be used in bankruptcy. We got cut off because of the break, but I'd like to throw it back to Attorney Garcia so she can flesh out for us how experts are also used in the bankruptcy courts.
Thank you, Attorney Pratt. In a bankruptcy court, in a Chapter 13, we'll focus there first. A lot of, our watchers are in problems with their homes at this point, maybe need a forbearance, and maybe they have these second mortgages that they want to get rid of. We can perform what's called a valuation, or you do a motion of value, in which you will need an expert appraiser to testify as to the value of your property, of the real property. Typically, your lender will obtain their own expert appraiser, at which time you'll bring both experts before the court. Each expert will give the price as to the opinion of the property, and the judge will decide which expert to believe. In bankruptcy court, you're going to see a lot, unless one expert can be maybe discredited, and the counsel can bring out the issues with the comparables and problems with the appraisal. The bankruptcy judges will do a lot what we call they'll split the baby, is how they refer to it. So if you have one expert, at 100,000, one expert at 150, the judge is going to call it at 125. And that's going to happen a lot of the time with these valuations. So most of the time, if your attorney wants to save you costs, there's going to be an agreed order entered, unless you're very far off. Then, you take it and maybe the judge is going to go one way or the other.
In my experience, because in family law cases, we get appraisals all the time. And appraisals, Zillow and appraisals, it'll be in the same ballpark. It's, you're not going to have one appraisal of $500,000, another of $1 million.
No,
there's going to be a
true,
variance.
But sometimes the creditors and certain debtors too, and some creditors sometimes, even though you're close, won't bring their appraisal down. They'll say, no, this is the value. And you're maybe $30,000 apart, but if $1 sometimes can change whether an entire mortgage is going to be wiped out or not. So sometimes it's worth it to take it to the judge, because even splitting the baby sometimes will benefit one party at the end of the argument.
And Attorney Garcia, that's an example of where, because I would imagine, who pays for that expert? The client themselves has to pay for that expert.
Individuals have to pay, correct. So, you have, as the debtor, you must purchase your own appraisal, which appraisals, they vary, but they're typically less than $500. But then you also have to pay for the testimony of the appraiser at the hearing. So that depends on your appraiser what they're going to charge you.
Which is why, if you are an experienced attorney, like you are, Attorney Garcia, and you know that typically, and of course every case is different, we can't ever make guarantees to our clients, but based on your experience, you can say, look, typically the way this judge is going to go is he's going to just split the baby. Let's try and see if we have the competing reports, but without having to go to court, because that's going to save you money on the hearing and the testimony and things of that nature. Is that what you're explaining, that you could do that?
Absolutely, you can do that. You reach out to the other side as the attorney, you reach out to the lender, say, hey, we're here, let's meet at this point, let's get an agreed order to here, and you take it from there.
And my only real point with this is that a lot of folks might be thinking, why would I do that, whether it's in a divorce context or a bankruptcy context? Why would I spend money on that? But you're hearing what Attorney Garcia is saying. Sometimes it can make the difference between stripping an entire mortgage.
Real quick too, in family cases, if you go to a mediation, you have a real property dispute valuation, and you don't have an appraiser, you're going to sit there for hours having the attorneys argue, when you could just spend $500 to get an appraisal and have the answers.
And the other thing too, in the bankruptcy hearings, if you as the debtor have a just a Zillow printout, but the lender's coming in with their appraisal, the lender's going to win. So that's something that you need to really think, because and the same vice versa, when the lenders come without their appraisal and just their BPOs, your appraisal is going to rule over the BPO. So that's why
it's not admissible in court.
No.
However, but don't just because it's not admissible in court, don't discount the value that it is an accurate tool. However, what Zillow's not going to take into consideration, if you have an appraisal, but there's been aftermarket work, improvements, carports, and anything like that, renovations, Zillow may not take that into consideration. But don't ignore Zillow, you just can't use it in court.
Some bankruptcy judges will tell you, if it gets that far before the judge and you tell, oh, Your Honor, Zillow says, they'll say, I don't want to hear what Zillow says, I don't care. The judge would rather take the county and maybe add a little more onto the value than what Zillow says.
The county's not going to be anywhere in the ballpark, and that's why you need the appraiser.
Right, exactly.
Thank you so much, attorneys. Once again, 888-88-LEGAL. That's the number you guys need to call for any questions you may have. And we have those solutions. 888-88-LEGAL.
I know we're coming up on the break next, but I want to give it back to Attorney Silver. You wanted to talk to us about a case, and we can obviously talk again when we return from the break, but you can at least start talking to us about this case that you wanted to mention.
Anyway, so sure, getting into, I have so many clients that they come in and they say, my wife, she's crazy. She needs to be evaluated. And thanks to one of my favorite basketball players, this has been a very heightened legal standard because of Dwayne Wade's case.
The Wade case.
Yeah.
Now you got
D Wade. That's
Gabrielle
right.
Union.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Right. Dwayne Wade's the opposing party went on television outside the courthouse broadcasting signs saying Dwayne Wade's kid is on the street, bad, 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 and the judge ordered a psychological evaluation. We'll hear more about it.
Well, we'll get back. We'll definitely get back to it. 888-88-LEGAL. Give us a call, ladies and gentlemen. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
I know you're home right now asking yourself, how? How will I pay my rent, my mortgage, my bills, my credit card debt? I'm attorney Alexis Garcia with PraDa Law. I've personally helped people with financial problems over the last 10 years. I understand what you are going through. We saw people lose it all in the 2008 financial crisis. You don't have to lose it all. The consultation is free. Call us now. I will help protect what you have built. You have nothing to lose by calling us. Call us now. These are trying times. This deadly virus is affecting our health, economy, jobs, our small business owners. Bankruptcy protection may be able to save assets and immediately stop your creditors from harassing you. Small business owners, employees of business of any size, we know you need help. Call us now. We will help you get back on your feet. Don't wait until it's too late. This is the time to call.
Sé que estás en la casa ahora mismo preguntándote, ¿cómo? ¿Cómo voy a pagar la hipoteca, la renta, los biles, las tarjetas de crédito? Soy la abogada Jennifer Pratt con PraDa Law. Yo personalmente he ayudado a las personas con problemas financieros durante los últimos 10 años. Yo entiendo por lo que estás pasando. Vimos cómo la gente lo perdió todo durante la crisis financiera de 2008. No tienes que perderlo todo. Llama ahora. La consulta es gratis. Te ayudaremos a proteger todo lo que has construido durante todos estos años. Sabemos que estos son tiempos difíciles. Este virus mortal está amenazando nuestra salud, nuestra economía, nuestros empleos y a los propietarios de nuestras pequeñas empresas. La consulta es gratis. Llame ahora. Te ayudaremos a recuperarte. No esperes hasta que sea demasiado tarde. Llame ya.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is PraDa Law Live, and I'm Jackie Mendez. We've been talking about some pretty hot topics, actually. Attorney Silver had some information about D Wade.
D Wade,
very famous here in Miami, Florida, of course, with the Heat.
One of, if not my favorite basketball player, go Heat.
And mine as well. But I do want to remind you guys, this is a live show. Give us a call. Any questions you may have, 888-88-LEGAL.
I didn't even know we were going to be talking about Dwayne Wade, and I just coincidentally wearing my red jacket, so go Heat.
And a white shirt underneath, the white hot Heat.
Right in time for the playoffs. You know, it would be just like you, Miami Heat, to go since 2014 to the playoffs, the 1 year, I'm a season ticket holder, that you are not playing in person. Woohoo!
So here's what else D Wade did, not only for the basketball community, but for the legal community. So, you know, he had this case where his baby mama was standing outside a courtroom.
No, she was not a baby mama. She was a wife.
Oh.
Let's get it right. She was his wife.
Anyway,
I'm almost positive. She was a wife. There were alimony issues there.
She was outside a courthouse. She was holding up plaques, holding up signs, stating crazy things. And the judge, after watching the video, sua sponte, basically said, you need to be psychologically evaluated. It went up on appeal, and the appellate court raised some new standards to make it much harder to get a psychological evaluation. You basically have to have good cause. The mental state has to be in controversy. And you can't just be like, my wife's crazy. You need to have her psychologically evaluated.
Hold on. It wasn't just that Dwayne Wade was saying my wife is crazy. It was that they presented, because he, I'm sure, had amazing, great lawyers. his lawyers and him have presented evidence, video evidence, and I remember because I wish we could show you guys the graphics. I've seen the photos. It was like cardboard box type, like handwritten signs that said like, you know, my husband or whatever is Dwayne Wade, I've been left destitute, I've been left on the street. I think what you're saying is that the judge it was reversible error, I guess, or incorrect, because the judge just based on that one image, that one video segment, couldn't just say yes. Because no one had ever raised mental health issues before, is what I understand, until that moment.
Just because someone may be doing a little something that's abnormal or heated, it's not going to rise to the level of providing for a psychological evaluation, because a psychological evaluation is kind of like a proctological examination for your brain.
Okay, what is that word? And can you spell are you a spelling bee champ? What word did you just say? What did you say?
A proctological exam. That's an examination of your bottom. But for your mind, I mean, a psychological evaluation will cost between $2,500 to $4,000. It will take.
How much?
$2,500 to $4,000. You'll have a single space 50.
I'm crazy. just mark it on the order. I'm crazy, but I ain't paying that.
Well, we do have an internet question coming in from Bernard, who's asking actually that he thinks his wife has mental health issues and he's afraid to leave his kids with his wife alone.
If this is Bernard Hopkins, I'm not answering.
Okay, no last name here.
You know, I box, and he's a legend. I'm not stepping to that legend.
No, but he does want to know. He thinks his wife has mental health issues, and he wants to know if.
Let me tackle this one. So, if you have mental health issues and something recent has happened that's calamitous, perhaps she checked herself. Calamitous, like a calamitous event, a very terrible event, a no good. Yeah,
you mean like a high stress event.
Like she's committed to a mental hospital. Okay. She gets a DUI with a child in the car. She becomes Baker acted or Marchman acted. She overdoses on drugs. She attempts to commit suicide. These are the type of things that put your mental state at issue. Just because you're saying, I'm a good parent, I'm a proper parent, and I deserve time sharing, that doesn't put you under the psychological evaluation lens. You know, bad things have to happen, calamitous things have to happen, and not 20 years ago, something recent during the pendency of the case, because all the time people are trying to dig up those skeletons in the closet. We have a case now where we're representing someone in the military. They had honorable service of over 20 years, and they have PTSD, and they were trying to get into their records, and we were just not having it because it was privileged and confidential.
Wow. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Attorney Silver. Thank you for that information. 888-88-LEGAL. Give us a call, ladies and gentlemen. That's the number you need to call for solutions and your free consultation.
All right, the former teacher in me. So I'm going to just try to dumb this down for y'all. I think what Attorney Silver is trying to say is that it's not enough to say, my wife Alexis Garcia is crazy. It's got to be coupled, and I'm afraid that she's going to be left alone with my kids. Our kids, sorry, I learned that from you. Our kids, of course. I have to also be able to show the court that there's a little more going on. For example, for example, they just found, you know, Attorney Alexis Garcia running down the street, you know, going crazy, naked, right, or something, or they, you know, they Baker acted her, or she attempted to kill the family dog, and these are serious things that people really do, by the way. I think that's what you're saying, Attorney Silver. We need to kind of couple it with something else.
And remember, you know, these dissolution of marriage proceedings, they weigh heavy on the emotions, and people do things that they may not normally do because their emotions get the better of them because they're in a situation they can't control. There's a lot of pressure on all sorts of forces, and some sort of calamitous event could trigger an event that would warrant a psychological evaluation. But not your normal everyday, she's crazy, she's mean, she's angry. That's not going to cut it.
And go ahead, Jackie.
Well, I mean,
tell us about our phone number.
Well,
here.
I definitely want to let everybody know that they can call in and they do have solutions.
They can participate just like Mr. Bernard did.
That's absolutely 888-88-LEGAL. Give us a call today, tomorrow.
Right now. Attorney Garcia, we've got about 20 seconds left. Our mental health in bankruptcy, is that relevant?
Yes, absolutely. If you're not of sound mind, you cannot sign a bankruptcy petition.
You're not of sound mind, you can't get divorced either.
Exactly. Yeah. So there are certain cases where, and clearly that has to be brought up, but you know, individuals with dementia maybe, there are certain ways you can have the bankruptcy signed. I guess we don't have much time to get into that. We can get into it another time. But there are ways.
For next week.
Next week.
We've actually been at every show until this week, towards the end, we've decided what our next topic is going to be in the last 10 seconds.
Write it down, production.
So,
You can't get divorced if you're mentally incompetent. There's just a 3-year waiting period, but that's for next show.
Next
all
show.
right, it's been a pleasure. I'm going to let Jackie close us out. It's been a pleasure to be here with you guys and these very intellectual people that say words that we can't even talk about. We'll see you next time. Can't wait. Sorry, Jackie. Bye-bye.